Well, I'm not going to wait because people will either come or they will not. Um, and I think really this is going to be mostly for people to watch afterwards if they're interested.
Yeah.
But we wanted to do this live to give the opportunity for people to ask questions. And, in case no one's here, Sarah and Connor have been very kind to come and heckle me a little bit. Please, you
Yeah.
guys, talk as much as you like, interrupt me, ask questions.
I have
Interrupting
a
is one of my
question.
main talents, so I think I got you covered there.
It is why you were selected for this experience.
Yes, I knew it.
I have a question, Lily.
Yes.
Before we begin,
Yes.
what are your credentials
Oh, yeah.
to give this talk?
Fair enough, right?
Why should people listen to you?
Yeah.
So, as much as I love podcasting, it sure doesn't pay the rent.
If only.
My secret alter ego day job is I am the digital strategist at an advertising agency. Yay!
That's fun.
I manage a portfolio of, well, right now it's about seven clients with various different campaigns. The budgets range from, $100 a week to like 20 grand a month, anything in between. I know how to manage digital advertising, and it's something that I do all day, every day. I am Google certified and Meta certified, which doesn't really mean anything to anyone, but if it does, that's what I am. I'm also Trade Desk and Basis Centro certified, but those are like obscure industry DSPs, so I'm suspecting
What is
that
a
means
DSP?
I don't know what I was about to say.
that was a trick. You passed the test. A DSP is a demand side platform, and that is the software where an advertiser sets up the criteria for delivering ads to the internet as a whole. We're mostly going to be talking about specific ad platforms like Amazon, Meta, Google, and TikTok, because those sort of have a lower barrier to entry and I think are the most likely ones that people, independent authors are going to be interacting with. However, you could consider those DSPs too, because demand side versus supply side, publisher versus advertiser, there's a whole ecosystem. Um, I'm going to start with what the fuck digital advertising is and how it works, but I realize you probably want to see what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you ready for the most beautiful? I'm an advertiser, not a graphic designer, so
Amazing.
yeah. Voila!
Graphic design is
masterpiece.
really your passion. We can really tell from looking at this.
Yeah.
I was expecting full on animations and stuff.
Well,
Some star wipes, maybe.
unfortunately, I was doing this in between work, so you're getting
How
some
could you
basic
do
bitch PowerPoint. However, what it will have, and I'm trying to organize my screen so I can see. Okay, good enough. I'm calling this a crash course because I'm going to be going very fast through a lot of shit. I'm also going to be doing more strategic level, like planning tips, and less, where's the button to do this? Partially that's because I can't really show you my dashboards because there's like sensitive client information in there, and I did not trust myself to figure out how to share my screen safely.
That makes
Also,
sense.
ad platforms change their format every fucking 6 months just to make your life harder.
Oh,
So
God.
if I told you today how to create a lookalike audience in Meta, tomorrow it could be completely different. So
I hate
luckily,
that.
there's a ton of like walkthroughs and stuff that you can find online. Honestly, Google it. I know that sounds silly. Also, don't necessarily use the platform's own documentation because I find that that also lags behind.
Helpful.
Yeah, it's the worst. Anyway, moving on. What is digital advertising and how does it work? Every time you load a website, in those seconds while it is loading, there is an auction taking place on the advertising space on that website or app or, TV, streaming television, whatever. During those seconds, there is an auction happening between hundreds of different advertisers who have targeted this instance as a valuable impression. An impression is every time a piece of content is shown. So when you're setting up your ad campaign in your demand side platform, or in, Meta ads, Amazon ads, Google ads, whatever platform you are setting up your tactic in, you are giving it guidelines for which space you want to bid on, what you find valuable.
I have a question.
Yes.
Can you give us the definition of tactic? I get it from context clues, but
Yeah, that's not every platform has like a slightly different definition. I am using it more colloquially. So a tactic is a way you're doing a thing, what you're trying to do. On Facebook / Meta, Google, and TikTok and Amazon, I think they call each one a campaign. But when you're looking at your strategy as a whole, like internally, you're probably thinking, okay, what is my campaign to advertise this book? Well, I'm going to have one tactic on Amazon, one tactic on Meta, one tactic on... So, a thing.
okay.
It does not have a good technical explanation. Yeah. When you're setting up your campaign in Meta, how's that? Because that's what they call it. You are defining who you want to serve your ad to. And so while that loading time is happening, you have determined, well, not you, the ad software has determined who is loading that website, the content of that website, and a bunch of other different signals that are too numerous for the human brain to, like, actually do the math for in one moment, which is why we have computers do it for us. And all of the advertisers are bidding on that space depending on how valuable they find that impression. The winner gets their little ad to show up, and then the user, seconds later, has their webpage load with a little ad, not knowing that there was a cutthroat auction behind the scenes in that moment.
Oh, that's fun.
It is fun. And this happens everywhere. When you're scrolling through your Facebook news feed, it's loading new content below for you. Some stuff you actually care about, and some ads. That auction is happening in the background of Facebook for the content below as well. Let's see. Where will your ads run? Wherever you set them up to. So in the biz, we call these platforms walled gardens because they do not play well with others. If you want your ad to run on Meta, you have to set up your campaign in Meta, or your tactic in Meta. I am going to use those interchangeably, I'm sorry.
So
and then
do you need
also,
like a Facebook page to do that?
you do need a
something like
Facebook
that?
page, yes.
You can't just do it from like a personal account.
No. You need a page, and then you can boost posts. If you do want to run ads on Meta, I highly recommend setting up a business manager. I know that sounds fancy and like exclusive, but they are free, and it just gives you a lot of extra tools for tracking and setting up your tactics.
Oh, that's fun.
It is really fantastic. I know, like, a lot of people have probably had experience, like, boosting posts just to try to get, more views on their content. But if you're really trying to get, like, sales, a business manager has a lot more functionality than I really recommend. It's the same basic concept, but just, like, more. And I do think you can't run it with just an Instagram. You do need a Facebook page in order to run ads. But
do you need a Facebook page, or you need the Facebook Business Manager?
you just need a page to run ads. Business
I meant
manager
specifically
is,
for Instagram.
you can boost posts without a business manager. You just can't do it as well.
Okay.
So one of the things that Business Manager lets you do is it lets you use more robust data when you're setting up your targeting.
Is that where you go to get insights and stuff?
You can. I think you can get insights without Business Manager, but it'll give you like more complex information.
That makes sense.
Yeah. The really big benefit I would say that Business Manager has over just regular ads is that you can use your own data for targeting. So I have down here, there's third-party data and first-party data, and these are the two worlds. Third-party data is anything that someone else is telling you about a user, and first-party data is information that you know because they have visited your website before, or they follow you on Instagram, or they liked one of your posts one time. I'm going to keep smacking this defunct microphone, I'm sorry. And that is really valuable because who is most likely to buy your book? Someone similar to someone else who bought your book. So if you can collect this data, newsletter subscribers, past purchasers, anyone who likes your content, you can create a lookalike audience based on them and ask the meta algorithm, hey, here's this group of 500 people. Can you find anyone in the United States who is very similar to them? And Meta will do that. And that is a really, really good way of targeting people without having to define who you want to send the ads to. Especially with the way Meta has really changed their audience segmentation recently. You used to have some really cool interest and behavioral options that they've taken away, and it really sucks. So definitely you want to be collecting first-party data. And, ask, well, you don't have to ask them if they like your Facebook post. They're giving you that data. But with newsletter lists and website visitors, that's what all the disclaimers and stuff are for.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you're saying, hey, I want to serve my ad to anyone who is similar to my existing followers, because those people are the most likely to then, follow you, like you, buy a book, whatever.
I didn't know you
But
could upload a newsletter list. That's really cool.
you
That
can.
actually sounds really helpful.
So if you have a list of people who subscribe to your newsletter, you can say, these are my existing audience. Find more people like them for me. There
That's
is a
incredible.
minimum number. I think it's only 100, but
Oh, I've got that.
yeah. Because for privacy, they don't want you uploading a list of one person and saying, find their twin.
Give me other people like Greg, specifically. I want everyone like this one guy.
Mm-hmm. And Facebook says they hash all of the data and keep it private and then purge it after they've created the lookalike list. You can read their documentation and decide for yourself how much you believe that. They're matching it with existing Facebook profiles, so these people have already agreed to give them information, but also it is Meta, so I understand if that's not something you want to do. I do it all the time though. I've given up on morals. Not just lookalike audiences though, you can also do customer match audiences, which when we're working with such intimate groups of people, I think is probably going to be a less helpful tactic. But if you have a list of, a bunch of newsletter subscribers and you sent them a newsletter, but only some of them opened it, then you can say, hey, Facebook, send ads to this list of people, not people similar to them, my actual newsletter subscribers. Remind them to go click on this, which is, it's pretty fun. So why are you creating all these different groups of people? Why would you even serve ads from Meta and not directly on Amazon, where presumably you're selling your book? If you're not selling your book on Amazon, then take out the presumably.
Get set up. Do that. Stop. Why are you watching this? Go get set up on Amazon.
I know there are other places to sell books, and I don't want to sound like I'm saying you better be using Amazon. I'm an Amazon shill. I'm just kind of coming from a place of assuming that is the easiest place to get set up.
Yeah,
and the
Amazon
best
has about a
starting
70% market share of ebooks, I believe.
point. Yeah.
I don't know if that's the correct term. That's just the terminology I've heard on Twitter, and I don't know if anyone who says that has any authority to designate that terminology.
It sounds right, though.
Yeah. They've got a huge slice of the pie in terms of people who buy ebooks. Almost exclusively do it from Amazon.
Mm-hmm. So that's why I'm making assumptions. I feel like it's safe.
Yeah.
But yeah, if people are buying books on Amazon, why would you serve ads somewhere else? We're now going to talk about the marketing funnel. This is the marketing funnel. So on average, it takes 3 touch points for someone to actually make a purchase. Most people don't rush out and buy something the very first time they hear about it. It takes some time. They have to hear about it for a little while. They think about it. They consider it. Now, it is possible that you make one post on Instagram Someone sees that post, they go, holy shit, this is amazing, click on the link, go to Amazon, buy the book, all in the same 30 seconds. That person is going directly through your funnel, and they don't need any steps, they don't need any help to remind them or, like, bring them through to the end. That would be great.
Instead of a funnel, it's just a slide.
Yes, exactly. That's just a fireman's pole directly to your purchase.
Yeah. Oh, man.
That's pretty unlikely. So, generally, you have a funnel from awareness down to action. And the idea is that out of the, say, 100 people who see your book, or your post, or whatever it is, your video, your book trailer, only some of those people will actually click on the link, and out of those people who click on the link and go to your Amazon page, only some of them will actually purchase it. That's a very basic funnel, and you're going to be losing people off the side as you go. So an example of a funnel would be someone sees your content for the very first time. Maybe they see a post, someone shares your post, and they see it, and they're like, oh, fiction fans. I have now seen that name for the very first time ever. And then maybe a little bit later, they find a video that Fiction Fans has posted, and they sit there and they watch the whole 15-second video. This is a big deal. The average watch time for a video on social media is 3 seconds. No one's got time for
Oh, that
shit.
makes me feel much better about my TikTok insights now.
Yes.
Oh, man.
People be scrolling. That is why if you are trying to push like a specific action, like for organic content, you know, make something interesting and engaging. If someone watches the whole thing, that is someone who is interested in you and you want to re-engage them later. If not, try to get the call to action, whatever you want people to do, if that's the purpose of this, if it's an ad, basically. Try to get that in the first 3 seconds. Because then at least even if someone skips, they've heard like your most important piece. Like start with buy my book and then 12 seconds about why. So then, okay, you now know you've been running video content. You can say, hey, Meta or YouTube or Amazon, but I think Amazon video ads are really expensive and have a really high minimum. So I'm going to assume most people are not using Amazon Video. But create an audience of everyone who has watched. Honestly, even 50% of your video. As you can say, like, anyone who's engaged with my content, anyone who has watched more than the minimum number of seconds, like, serve them a follow-up ad. If they were interested enough to watch, you know, that much of my video, they might click on something. So then, you know, follow up with another ad, or the first ad if that was organic content to begin with. And the point of this one would be to get someone to click on it. And that will take them probably directly to your Amazon author page or something, to try to get... You want to make a... Yes.
And Fiona in the comments says that she doesn't think that videos are available for KDP ads.
Yes, I was pretty sure that was the case. Amazon DSP has video ads, but I think the minimum for that is like $5,000 a month.
Jesus.
I'm going to assume no one wants to do that.
God damn.
So you can run video ads on Meta, on YouTube, in any of these platforms. However, again, they can't talk to each other. So you can't target on Meta people who've watched 5 or more seconds of your YouTube video. You know, like they're disconnected in that way. They are walled gardens. But once someone clicks on your ad, or a link in an organic post, I am coming from a very ads-centric perspective because that's what I do, but it does not all have to be paid. Not every step of this journey is necessarily paid content. But the link will presumably bring them to your Amazon page, if that's where you're selling your book, and if that's your goal for your funnel. I'm assuming it is. After that, they will either purchase with one click, which usually is how I buy podcast books, because I already know I'm going to read them. But if they haven't already decided they're going to read it, they might add it to their shopping cart, and then they might abandon their shopping cart. So there is actually a step between adding your book to their shopping cart and then actually purchasing. And if someone falls out of that funnel, Can KDP do display ads? I think so. Those you can retarget. So just like retarget anyone who added your book to their shopping cart but didn't actually click purchase, you can go back and poke them and say, hey, you thought this was good enough to add to your shopping cart. Go buy it. Go finish. And pester them until they do what you want.
So like you're setting up ads that are like increasingly narrow in scope, where you start with something that's really broad to catch attention, and then the people who are caught by that attention, you set up a different ad that targets those people, and then just work down the chain.
Exactly.
Is there a certain amount of time you should have like one ad up and collecting that data before you set up a new thing?
So this is more of a budget question than a strategy question.
Okay.
If you had $1 million, you could run 5 different tactics to hit different levels of your funnel all at the same time, and you would just be constantly feeding people into the top of your funnel and then moving them through as they go.
Again, in the comments, Fiona says, nope, we can't retarget on Amazon.
That sucks. I'm sorry.
Rude.
So that would, I think, bring in an argument for not just using Amazon and not just sending traffic to Amazon, because then you have no way of collecting like those intermediary steps. You can create a retargeting campaign based off of people who have clicked on your ad. However, Facebook or Google or TikTok don't necessarily know what that person has done after that point, because there's not like a great communication between those ad platforms and Amazon, because Amazon wants you to use only their platform. So this is just a very like basic example of a marketing funnel. Yours might look different. You're, like I said, probably not going to be using paid media for every step of this. There are obviously other parts of marketing. I'm talking about advertising, what I call paid media. There is also public relations, PR, which is basically what you're doing when you're sending out your book, your press kit, when you're asking people to talk about your book for free. That's like asking a news station to pick up a news story about your business because you think it's interesting and you hope other people think it's interesting.
Oh yeah. I've done stuff like that where like you're sending out emails to sort of like either collect reviews or to various organizations like newspapers or radio shows or TV shows or things like that, being like, hey, I need you to feature me. And then sometimes you get some like some follow through from someone on the other end being like, hey, we'll set up a profile for you.
Mm-hmm. PR is miserable. I'm so glad that that's not what I do, because you end up sending out so many pitches and not a lot of people are actually going to follow through on it. But that's kind of like the piece that fiction fans is living in. We get emails from people asking us to review their books or talk about their books on the podcast. That's PR. There's no money exchanged, but you're going to have a much lower success rate with getting that out there.
Right.
There's also organic social media, and that's just you posting things on social media, building your following, people who choose to see what you post. There is some overlap between PR and organic social media in the world that we call influencer marketing. So that is when a brand pays an influencer with a large organic following to make an organic post about them. So the brand is paying for the impressions, but it's just the influencer's organic audience that's seeing it and interacting with the content. I can't imagine there's a lot of booktubers getting paid to cover books. I mean, maybe the really big ones, but you have to have a pretty big following to make that pencil.
I think that's more of like a TikTok kind of thing.
Yeah, you have to have a pretty big
who
TikTok.
literally who will like offer you to be like, hey, if you pay me, I'll read your book. Like, pay $50 and you'll get into like the slot where I'll read your book, but I can't promise like a good review. I've seen a couple big booktubers doing that, but I don't think it's a significant chunk of that audience.
Yeah, you see a lot of that in like the beauty community. I think that's probably the best example where that happens. A beautytuber might get paid by a brand to, use their foundation in their next Get Ready With Me. And so a bunch of people will organically see that brand. The brand paid for it, but it's not technically a paid, ad. Although they
Yeah.
are supposed to tag it that way. There were laws passed. There was a big kerfuffle about it.
Right.
But
Like native advertising, right?
yeah, very similar to that.
Fiona again says that she gets pitches from people on Instagram all the time for that kind of thing.
Yeah, pay me to cover your book.
Yeah.
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 I'm sure, like, there are times where it pencils out, but you have to decide, like, if someone's ever pitching that to you, you should ask, like, what you will get. They should be able to give you at least an estimate of how many impressions they would get. And if they have any past data for how many, like, affiliate link clicks or any link clicks that they get, they should be able to tell you that. I mean, it probably won't be exact, but if they can't even give you an estimate, I wouldn't.
Oh, overwhelmingly they are scams. Oh,
Yeah.
like the vast majority. If someone already has like a huge audience and like they're like, I can think of I think one or two booktubers off the top of my head who I've seen like set up a page that will like accept
Sponsorships.
like money for a review, but usually these are people with like thousands of dollars, or not like with thousands of followers, subscribers or whatever, and they'll be like $50 to $100 for a review because you're getting access to like their huge audience.
Yeah.
But even then, it's a gamble because like you don't know if they're gonna like it, and then if they put out a negative review, it could still net you something because like all reviews are gonna get you some traction. But there's always that sort of gamble.
Absolutely. Impressions are, well, advertising in general is either paid on a CPM or a CPC basis. Now, what the fuck is a CPM?
I was about
Cost
to
per
ask.
thousand, obviously. Doesn't that acronym make so much sense?
Why is it an M?
So that's because, well, actually, at CPT, I don't know, is that something bad or too close to CPC? I don't know. So M stands for mill, which is very helpful.
Why?
To be difficult. I don't even get me started on the word view and how every single platform defines it differently. It
Oh
sucks.
God.
So when you are deciding, I'm going to skip down actually. I have a. You signed up for an advertising live stream, so you're going to get some screenshots.
Oh,
of
you have so many
spreadsheets.
more slides than I thought you would.
Oh, we'll see how far we get. This is a beautiful spreadsheet. This is an actual spreadsheet I made to help me in my real actual job. It's numbers. I'm sorry. That's what this is. There's not a lot of beautiful graphics with advertising or with paid media. But this is a media planner that I use when I'm trying to estimate like budgets and things like that. This is populated with historical data from campaigns that I've been running over the last 7 years. So definitely, this is something that we'll have available to download on our Patreon for free, if you want to use this for planning a campaign or anything. But definitely feel free to like change the numbers based off of your historical data, because your data is going to be better because it's going to be more specific and accurate for you. But again, this is just an estimator tool. But I wanted to pull this up while we're talking about, like, is it worth it to pay for an influencer? Because I wanted to talk about average CPMs. So every platform is going to have a different average CPM, just kind of based on supply and demand. The more people bidding on space there, the higher the CPM is going to be driven up. So when we talk about an influencer with thousands of followers, well, a $10 CPM would be $10 for 1,000 impressions. And that's pretty average for like, you know, Meta, YouTube, TikTok, those places. So if an influencer is saying, pay me $100 for 1,000 followers, that's $100 CPM. That's really expensive. However, they generally have a very engaged audience. They're what we would call an opt-in audience because these people have chosen to watch this content. It's not being pushed to them through paid media. So you do tend to get a much higher engagement rate. I also have estimated click-through rates here in this column. Again, these are pretty conservative averages. You will definitely be able to get higher, and you might get lower, depending on, you know, what you're running, who you're targeting. But For something that's like influencer content, you would expect a higher click-through rate or a higher engagement rate, because the whole point of them is that they have an engaged audience. But you can also use this just like for planning. So I have some math. This is a very math-heavy spreadsheet. I used 10% as my estimated conversion rate. That's a pretty stock standard e-commerce conversion rate. So that's saying 10% of the people who actually make it to your store page from an ad will like actually purchase. So if we start from, let's use Pinterest because it has nice round easy numbers. If you spend $500 on Pinterest, based on average CPMs, you can expect around 50,000 impressions. With an estimated click-through rate of 0.2%, that would then math out to being 100 people out of all of those impressions actually click on the ad, which would then convert to 10 people making a purchase. These are very, very vague averages based on absolutely random assortment of industries. You can always Google, like, what's the benchmark for click-through rates for Facebook? Your own information is going to be a lot better than anything. Even, like, entertainment, I think, is the closest you can get in industry to, like, books. That's so vague. That means you're going to be getting data from, like, blockbuster movie trailers and all sorts of shit. They're helpful to get started, which is why I did populate this with some, like I said, just really basic numbers. But after you've been running ads for a little while, you'll get a better sense of what you can expect. So definitely feel free to play around and update it if you want, if this helps you plan stuff. We can jump around a little bit. Let's see. We were talking about the marketing funnel. And there is one thing I wanted to bring up, which was you can bring people back, right? This is where first-party data is really going to be helpful. So they've gone through your funnel, they purchased your book, they read your book, they like it, maybe they sign up for your newsletter, and then in your newsletter you send out, you say, hey, book 2 came out, and then you're getting them back in, but they don't go back up to the top, right? They stay down there in the middle, or bottom even, and that's why first-party data for people who have already like shown an interest in you is going to be a lot more efficient to get them to convert than starting from the very beginning.
Well, that's why series do so well, right?
Yes, absolutely. You have a built-in audience for the next books.
So you can immediately just hit up everyone who liked it and be like, book 2 is out.
Yeah. Exactly. And I know there was some conversation around attribution. So let's see. We'll jump up to here. Data. An ad platform only knows what people are doing in that platform, right? Once someone clicks on the ad, it takes them to your landing page, your website, your Amazon store, wherever. The place that ran the ad does not know what they're doing anymore. So ad platforms all have what everyone is calling AI now. It's machine learning. When you set up your parameters for your ad tactic, you're saying, hey, serve this ad to these people, but you're also telling it what you want those people to do. So it might be, depending on where you are in your funnel, if you're doing an awareness tactic, your goal is just impressions. This is, the pie in the sky version. I suspect most awareness is going to be organic just because that's a lot cheaper than paying for it. But, maybe your goal is video views. Maybe your goal is clicks. Whatever you tell the ad platform that your goal is, it will use its algorithm, whatever it calls it, whatever fancy word they have for it, to serve your ad, not just to the people you told it to, but like, say you think that the target audience for your book is women in their 30s who drink wine and like cats. Just random, nothing connected to reality there at all.
Yeah, no.
Who is she?
I figured that was straight off the dome, just sort of inventing someone you've never met before.
Um, that's not exactly a unique person, though. That person's probably a dime a dozen, or even cheaper than that if you think about it from a CPM basis. So you have all of these women in their 30s who drink wine and like cats. But some of them are more likely to do your KPI, your key performance indicator, the metric that you have defined as the thing you want this ad to do. Some of them are more likely to actually do it than others, based on so many things. The time of day, what they were doing 30 seconds before the ad was served, whether they recently purchased a book similar, all sorts of information that's just like too much for one person to calculate, and that's why computers do it. So Facebook will say, okay, there are these 10 women loading their Instagram newsfeed right now. Which one am I going to bid on? Or more specifically, which one am I willing to bid a little higher for because they're more likely to do the goal action that we have set up? This is great. This is very cool. This is the benefit of any automatic or automated tactics. However, it's only going to be able to optimize towards the event that you tell it to, and it can't see anything past itself, basically. So the problem with that is, yeah, Instagram can optimize towards getting you as many clicks as possible, which is great because you're going to fill up the middle of your funnel here, but it's not able to determine who's actually buying your book. Because Amazon won't tell Facebook, because they're bitches. Not Amazon's, but they're all bitches. And this is just us trying to make them do what we want. That is the benefit of running ads in Amazon, because Amazon does know who actually, we call it a conversion, who actually converts. And so it's able to optimize towards that, which presumably is your goal. But if you're only running ads in Amazon, then you're trying to get people right there at the bottom of the funnel, and they might not be there yet. So you do want to set up, some feeder tactics, if you will, higher up in your funnel. But how do you know what people are doing? So, where is it? There it is. Part of the funnel can be tracked in the ad platforms themselves. Part of the funnel is tracked through analytics platforms. Now, I'd say there are two major analytics platforms that we want to talk about today. One is Amazon Attribution, and one is Google Analytics. Amazon Attribution obviously can track what actions people take after they've clicked on your ad and gotten to anywhere in Amazon, basically.
So I have a question.
Yes.
You had said that all of these sites or platforms are walled gardens. How then do these analytics platforms have any information about what's going on inside the garden?
That's a great question, Sarah. So, you have probably seen when you click on an ad or when you hover over it, that URL is like 3 feet long, right? We've all noticed this. The first half of the URL, or not even half, like the domain is where you're actually being taken. The rest of that junk is tracking information. So when you click on an ad, okay, wait, pixels. Pixels are a stupid name. It's not actually a pixel. Back in the day, it was actually like a little pixel on a website, but now it's a piece of code that you put in either the header or the footer of your website so that it fires on every page that someone visits. This piece of code, or this pixel, connects your website to, in this case, Google Analytics, or for Amazon, it would be Amazon Attribution. You don't have to set that up yourself. Amazon has Amazon Attribution like baked into all of their pages. But it's the same concept. These do the same thing. And so when you run an ad, you want to put, when you tell the ad what URL you want people to end up on if they click on it, and this URL should have a bunch of junk at the end. And all of that junk is what tells these attribution platforms anything. And that's all determined by you. So I'm going to use Google Analytics as our sort of a talking point here because you have to build that URL yourself. Amazon Attribution builds it for you. There's like a little web page. That's not helpful. There's a little web page when you're setting up in Google Attribution or sorry, Amazon Attribution or Amazon Ads, one of those two. And it's like, what product are you sending people to? What's the like source of this campaign? And then it spits out a URL for you, and you're supposed to copy that whole thing. That's the exact same process as Google Analytics, but Google does not do it for you. So this is also a URL builder that has UTM tags, is what we call them. I don't know what UTM stands for. It's the junk at the end of the URL. But this will put the URL together for you. So again, screenshots of a spreadsheet. I'm sorry. These are all the same screenshot, but I like tried to zoom in so you could actually see it. I don't know if that worked.
I think I got it.
Okay, so this top one is the whole thing. And then this, maybe I'll swap these around. Maybe that'll be easier to understand. So you start by putting in where you want people to show up, where you want them to go after they click on the ad. And then you put in how you want those people categorized. So maybe you're doing an ad campaign for The Fall Is All There Is. Mm-hmm. And so you would say, okay, the source is going to be just like the name of this campaign. This is The Fall That Is All There Is. And this is like, 2024. And then the medium could be where you're running
I can't tell if I froze or if everyone else froze.
Same. I had that exact problem just now.
Okay.
Lily still seems frozen.
I think it's going to be on her end.
Yeah. Oh no.
Which is a little
not ideal
because she's the expert. I cannot give a talk on advertising.
I was gonna say I don't know if I can like pick up where Lily left off. I don't know any of this. This is
so
what a thing to happen live though.
Technical difficulties.
Yeah.
Presumably she will come back at some point.
I would assume so.
Then she'll be able to keep up her talk.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, I guess I can't ask if anyone has questions because I cannot answer any questions. So.
Oh, how are we just sitting tight and waiting?
I think we are just sitting tight and waiting.
Oh, that's fun. Love this.
Yes, love this for us.
Yeah.
And we're hoping that she comes back soon.
Does this count as like advertising for like the importance of Lily's presence in this? It's just like we all learn a lesson about how much we need Lily to understand all this advertising stuff.
Yes.
Can we bring like Fiona in? She knows about marketing, right?
Yes, surprise
You're
Fiona,
the new Lily now.
You're on the live stream.
Yeah. Oh God. Did you have a moment of panic when everything froze?
Yes, I did, because my internet doesn't always like live streams or uploading video, so I was like, oh, it's probably just on my end. And then I saw you moving in your chair, and I was like, oh, maybe it's not on my end. Lily says that she lost internet, apparently.
Oh no. You're gonna have to you're gonna have to read a transcript of everything Lily wanted to say.
I don't even have her slides yet.
Oh no.
I mean, she's got all of that. Crystal has now joined the chat. Hi. We are having technical
yeah, Lily got booted right when she started talking about my book. That's when YouTube decided, no, we can't have this. Oh wow.
It sounds like it might be an like a full on internet outage.
Oh
Because she says
no!
only her phone is working.
Oh no! Oh god!
So
That's mortifying.
yeah, this is very unfortunate.
Well,
Um,
it sounds like there might be a part two at this rate.
it's kind of sounding like it. Uh,
Wow.
Crystal says, "Way to go, Connor." Yes.
Well, yeah,
you,
no, it was my book that did this. They were like, you can't. It's too chaotic. We can't have any promotion of it.
um,
I can't schedule ads on any platforms. It will just automatically shut down the entire website at that rate.
yep, yep.
That's what we're learning here today.
Your book is too powerful.
My book is Internet Cancer. That's what we're putting together. I've been cursed because I have all this marketing knowledge now that I can't use without shutting down a platform.
So I do think that we are maybe going to do a part two, but
Yeah.
the next difficulty is that Lily was the one who was in charge, like she was logged in
Yeah.
and to start the stream, and I'm not. So I'm not
So
sure
how do
we
we-
can actually end this.
Oh god, do we just have to like fucking hang up and see how it goes?
Then I think that's just going to be an empty stream.
That's fun. Love this. Can Lily come in on like her phone?
I'm not sure.
We are chained to a live stream.
Yes.
This is incredible. This is actually the best afternoon I've ever had.
This is
There's drama, there's stakes, who knows what will happen next.
this is not how I anticipated this live stream going.
Yeah.
Um,
YouTube doesn't want people to learn about marketing. my
Crystal,
God.
we are going to stay on. I'm very sad that we can't see your faces.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh my god.
yeah, Lily says that she needs the studio to be able to end it. I'm
Oh,
not sure
hey.
she can access the studio.
Perfect.
Oh, you're back.
Yeah, I'm on my phone.
Oh my god.
Apparently, my internet died.
Oh no.
Man.
Well, sorry
Ah.
guys for that fun chaos.
Every time like you freeze even a little bit, like the camera will stutter, and I have a mini panic attack.
I'm so sorry, but
No, it's not
back.
your fault.
I mean, my fucking internet.
Yeah.
It doesn't like it's not a thing, but it does. Anyway, you downloads.
Oh man.
Do we want to wrap up like this? I can keep going.
It
Do
looks
we
like
care what's going on?
on your end, it looks like it's barely holding on.
Oh yeah, is it terrible? Oh,
It's
okay.
very stuttery. I don't know if it translates to the live stream, but it's so stuttery on my end.
Yeah, it's a little stuttery. I do think we should do a part two. Before we leave, I'm going to
Yes.
go.
We'll
Crystal
edit this
has
part
asked-
out, right? It's not too
Crystal has-
late.
Crystal has asked that I show off a particular skull that has been named Pascal. So
Oh
I'm gonna go
yeah,
and
I
get
love that one.
I will be right back.
Yeah, perfect. It's not too late to transform this entire ending into lost media, right?
Yeah.
You'll cut out, and then
oh my
we'll
God.
come back, and it'll just be Sarah showing a skull, and there'll be no explanation for why and what's changed.
I'm gonna try
This
switching
is-
back. It looks like I'm back.
Oh, fantastic! Oh God! Oh no! I've been left alone. I didn't realize that's what. Oh, Sarah! Oh God! You came back just at the right time.
I'm back just in time. Here is Pascal.
I love him.
Thank you.
He's
Thank you,
beautiful.
Crystal, for naming him. This has nothing to do with advertising whatsoever.
Yeah, this was on
Um,
Twitter. This is advertisement for your Twitter page, actually.
Yes. So, did Lily drop off because she was having issues again, or
No,
No,
she
my
said that
earpiece
she's
back.
able to come back.
Oh, your internet is back.
It's back. I don't know why it did that to me, but thanks, internet.
Do we want to keep going? We'll just have a little hiccup in the middle.
Just an intermission.
I'm fine with that.
All right.
And I also have studio backup,
Oh, thank God.
Good.
so I can end it if we need to. If you stop recording in Riverside, it will cut off to the stream. So,
But I can't.
That's fine.
I can't stop recording in Riverside.
oh no. Well, I now have Riverside installed on my phone, so
Oh, that's good.
I can at
Love
least log in
this.
to do that for you.
Yeah, because I'm logged in as a guest because you can only have one host at a time.
That's so stupid.
Yeah, it is lame.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I have no stopping or starting powers.
Great. That's awesome.
That's fun.
Well, we were talking about UTM codes, which
We're talking
Yeah.
about UTM codes.
that's what Google calls them. Amazon Analytics has like a slightly different format, but it's the same concept. You're telling it, anyone who clicks on this link, give them these attributes, call them that forever, no matter what they do. And both of these platforms will track users' behavior once they get to your website or your Amazon page. Some really standard metrics that you're probably going to track are like bounce rate. That's if someone, the percentage of people who get to your website and then immediately leave and do nothing else.
Well, that's sad.
That is sad. There's also like page views. So if someone comes to your website and then clicks around and loads like 5 different pages, that'd be 5 page views for that visit.
Ooh.
You can see like returning users versus new users. And then you can also define goals. So,
Are we going to get the PowerPoint back?
oh
Your-
yeah, I can do that. It's
your
just
lovely
logos
PowerPoint.
for this slide. There. Tags. This is Amazon attribution. As you can see, so each one of these is one like set of tags that you've set up. The campaign name, the channel, the publisher. And then this is what it tracks for things that happen on that URL. From that URL, I should say. So Google Analytics has a little bit more oomph to it because it's trying to track like anything someone could do on any kind of website. So there's more flexibility. But Amazon is going to track what you care about, which is people who buy something from Amazon. From you,
perfect.
from Amazon specifically.
Love that.
However, I still definitely recommend, if you have an author website, definitely install Google Analytics, because then you can see things like what pages people are visiting. You can set up, I was saying you can set up goals. So if you have a newsletter subscription, you can set up a goal for people subscribing to your newsletter. And then you can see, how many people are doing that and what source that traffic is coming from. Website traffic, the people on your page. I think that's pretty common, but I'm used to describing this to old CEOs, so I don't know. For example, say you're running 2 ads. You have one ad on Instagram and you have one ad on YouTube. You would give these 2 ads different tracking codes, right? Even just as simple as source Instagram, source YouTube. The ad platforms would be able to tell you, out of everyone who saw your ad, oh gee, on Instagram, only 10 people clicked on it. But on YouTube, 100 people clicked on it. So according to the data that the ad platforms have, I guess we can go to the funnel slide for this talk. The information that the ad platforms have, you would think that YouTube is doing way better than Instagram. However, because you tagged those URLs, you'll know that once those people get to your website, yeah, sure, only 10 people came from Instagram, but all 10 of them signed up for your newsletter, whereas only 1 person from YouTube signed up for your newsletter.
Oh, wow.
So that would tell you a much better information for how those 2 ads are performing. Similarly, you can do that with Amazon attribution, but instead of signing up for your newsletter, it would be making a purchase. Let's see. So I was poking around in Amazon ads and I got mad. a lot of platforms like Amazon, Google search is like this too. They really push the concept of always on. You can run ads for only $1 a day. Um, don't don't start with that. Please don't start with that. If it's
Yeah.
$1 per click, that means you're only getting 1 click per day. And that's
Oh
not really
God.
enough data to A, make any decisions from, or for the machine learning to improve anything.
Yeah.
So start with a test. Say, like, even if you have your $1 a day as your budget, awesome, that's fine. I'm not saying spend more than that. I'm saying condense it. Do $5 in 2 days, and then wait a week, and then do something again. That's going to give you more information in a shorter time, and that's going to give you better data to make improvements and decisions off of. Once you have been, running some tests, maybe you have your book trailer, and then you also have like a carousel of like review quotes. And so you have these two different pieces of creative, and you're running those both on Instagram, and you have the URLs tagged so you know what people are doing after they click on them. They go to your Amazon page. Sometimes they buy, sometimes they don't. That's how the cookie crumbles. Run both of those. Say, like, you can give them a $5 budget total, split it between the two. Facebook will optimize towards the one that's getting the best clicks because that's all it knows. But then in the back end, you can see, again, well, I'm getting a ton of views and a ton of clicks from the video, but the quotes are getting me more purchases. That can tell you a couple of things. Maybe you want to split that into two tactics then. So you start with the video ad to talk to new people, and then anyone who watches the video or clicks on the video or engages with your content at all, then you send them the carousel of quotes, because that's more likely to actually convert them into a purchaser. But things like you can do, like set up things like that. And then maybe you just decide, hey, I really loved this creative, but it's not doing jack shit. You gotta cut it. I'm sorry. Sometimes the baby is ugly. There's another thing I wanted to say with testing, which is do testing, but make it very different. So whatever aspect it is that you're testing, if it's the creative or if it's the targeting, don't just change the font. Yeah, you can get that granular, but you need so much data to actually make that mean anything. If you're going to test creative, make it really different. It's just, you're going to get much better information that way. So, you do your A/B test, you have the video, and then you have the quotes. Maybe the video, isn't converting, but it's getting a lot of clicks. That's great. You're not trying to get clicks, you're trying to get conversions. So cut that, keep running the quotes, and then add something new. I don't know. I don't make creative. Just keep trying stuff. Now, if you get to a point where CPA, which is cost per acquisition is just another word for conversion, which is just another word for purchase, but CPC already belongs to cost per click, so can't use that twice. Then, yeah, start running $1 a day, because you've sort of dialed in on what actually gives you a good ROAS, return on ad spend. You want a good return on your investment, right? You're not just throwing money to get a lot of impressions and line Zuckerberg's pockets. That's not what we're trying to do here. So do a lot of testing, test creative, test audiences. Also, all of these ad platforms, I'm going to stop sharing now because I'm just talking. All of these ad platforms are really going to push their automated campaigns. That can be something you test. But I really don't recommend it unless the ad platform can see your actual conversion goal. So that depends.
Maybe you would do it on Amazon, but not on Meta or TikTok or wherever.
Exactly. There are a lot of really great automatic things that Meta can do, but I wouldn't set up your whole campaign that way. You don't get enough control. I don't I don't like it. Unless what you're trying to do is like pump up your newsletter subscriptions. That you can set up for Meta to see, because Meta has its own pixel that you can put on your website, and then Meta can see what people are doing on your website, and then you can define your goal for that tactic not to be clicks, but after they click, I want them to sign up for my newsletter. Then you can have Meta like automatically optimize towards that, and then you can try it.
That's fun.
There's a lot of really cool stuff you can do. I have mostly been talking, like I said, more strategy. But if you do have any questions, you can ask me. I really can't show screen shares of my business manager, though, so...
How dare you?
I know. I really was like, could I go in and take a bunch of screenshots? I was like, that would take a lot of time. I don't have
mean,
much time.
Fiction Fans has a business manager on Instagram or on Facebook. You can show that.
Does, but if I log in, it logs in, like, I access it through my professional account.
Oh, I can see how
yeah.
that would be tricky.
And so you'd be able to see like all of the account numbers, and better safe than sorry.
Probably best not to share that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess the other thing I wanted to talk about is like choosing a platform. Like, where do you want to run your ads? Amazon has the great appeal of being able to track conversions. But you do probably want people to have heard about your book before they get there.
Yeah.
They're a lot more likely to actually purchase your book if they've heard about it before. That kind of comes back to our like 3 touch points. They probably have to have heard about it 3 times before they actually pull the trigger on making a purchase. So again, this is where testing would come in handy. Just do like $5 for a day or a day or two on each platform and see what the results are. You can't... I think the main takeaway I would like people to have is that there is no magic bullet. And
God damn it.
I know.
It's so sad. I was coming here hoping there'd be a magic bullet.
That's what everyone wants. And that's what people are going to sell you. If they're selling you like how to do advertising, they're going to say, do it this way, you'll get results. But the way to do it is just to try shit. And to not be afraid to try stuff, because that's how everyone is doing it. The way to get better is to try things and just filter
like
out
a lot
the
of
stuff
other
that
sort of
doesn't work.
skills.
Yeah.
So like iterate on each attempt.
Yeah.
Exactly. No one is out there running the perfect campaign the very first time. And like, don't feel discouraged if the first thing you tried doesn't work out. Because it probably won't, because you don't know who your audience is yet. You don't know who to target yet. You don't know what creative is going to speak to them the best. There are best practices, there are good ideas, there are great places to start, but try again is the name of the game. And I know that sucks, and I know that's a lot of like brain space to devote to all of these analytics when you want to be like writing and talking about your book, but that's the best way to not waste money. The $1 a day, the $1 a day thing. It's such an easy concept.
Before you go on, Crystal in the comments says, I've seen some folks have great luck running ads on BookBub separate from the big featured sales, speaking of platforms.
So that's one that I don't have a lot of experience with because I am not actually advertising books that often. But I believe, is that one where you, that's probably what I would call a direct placement, where you're saying, I would like to place my ad in your content. Which is not...
it's like email marketing, I think. It's like you pay like a couple $100 and then they're like, we're going to distribute, you put your book on sale and we're going to distribute it to these these countries. Including the US, it gets up to like I think $600-700. And that is where the return on investment can get a little tricky. If you're not super high profile, you'll definitely get a couple $100 back. But definitely you're probably not going to make up the full 700 if that's what you're investing into it. But you can also get like a lower price for stuff outside the US, and that's usually going to be like, you're probably going to get like a decent return on investment with that if you're less well known. Because at least this is just based on my experience, like a couple other people that I know who is just sort of like I got one back in February that was not in the U.S.
Crystal says no, they run ads on their sales pages.
Oh, okay. Okay, yeah, then that would be how they do it, and it's sort of like I think I paid like 200 something for it, and I had made that back by like the end of the month, or something like that.
Crystal says, Connor, you're talking about the sale that you got accepted for, but you can also
Oh
run
yes.
ads on their landing
Oh
pages.
yes, I know what you're talking. Okay, yeah, no, there's a different
Yeah.
thing where you can actually like target like similar authors, and design an ad and everything, and there's that you can do at any time. I see what you
And
mean.
so those ads run within the platform itself, and users go there because there's sales and they just are looking for sales for books.
I think
Is
so.
that what
Yeah,
it
I've
is?
tried that a few times. You can like specifically like add like keywords and then like similar authors, and like you can make it, and it'll tell you how broad or narrow that your parameters are before it goes live, and everything, and you can sort of track it in real time.
So that would be an awesome opportunity if you're trying to nail down what like book comps and things. You
Yeah.
could do two different runs, right? One with like this set of authors and keywords, and one with that set, and see which one does better. That'd be a great opportunity for testing. I'd be curious to hear if anyone has used it as like a user.
I know a couple people who have left
Okay.
reviews for me on that site, but it's only like I don't know, like three to five people.
Okay. I'm just interested. I've never,
Yeah.
as a reader, I hadn't heard of it.
I
But
remember-
apparently someone has if you're making sales.
I've heard
Yeah, I
of it,
think-
but I've not actually used it.
I've done a few ads for it. I never leave them up for long because I'm not confident in my ability to do anything with it. But I usually end up getting like a decent amount of clicks. I don't know how many. I don't know like what a normal amount is though. But it's like usually like I think if I leave it up for like a couple days, you'll get up to like a number with at least one comma in it. And I don't know what like a normal amount is per day for the amount of spending I was doing, because it was not like I wasn't spending a ton of money on it, so I don't know what the return is. What return is
Yeah.
normal? I will show you that after we get off if you want.
Yeah,
I will show
so
you whatever the numbers are.
does it send people to your Amazon page, or do they buy the book
I think
through
so. Yeah.
it? Okay,
Yeah.
cool. I am going to assume that I've gone on for long enough with our brief intermission. And
Yeah.
I'll give a moment for any other questions, but I think they probably would have come through by now.
That's fun.
All right. Well, I'll put this stuff, like I said, like if you want any of the files I talked about for free on our Patreon. Definitely like reach out if you have any questions I didn't cover or like specific questions. And I can give recommendations or anything. If you are interested in meta ads, highly recommend Business Manager. Fuck around with Google. Google has a keyword paid search. Sponsored products on Amazon is basically the same thing as paid search on Google. You're bidding based off of the keywords that people are searching for, and you're doing your bid in a cost per click instead of in a CPM, which means you only pay if someone clicks, but it ends up washing out to the same thing. But yeah, we can talk A/B testing.
Crystal has one more comment. I think the benefit of BookBub is that people are looking for deals and they're browsing, whereas Amazon, people are looking more directly for a specific book.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, I personally have never just Googled fantasy novel, or sorry, Amazoned fantasy novel.
I've done that.
I
Yeah,
haven't done
to
I
actually
haven't-
purchase something, or because you were doing brand research.
I think both. At different periods of time. I was significantly newer to fantasy the first time I did it.
I haven't done that, but I will occasionally browse Amazon, like, their for you, or their
Oh, yeah,
recommended
yeah,
for
yeah.
you, just to see, like, if there's anything that I might be interested in, where I'm not looking for a specific book. I'm just kind of like, hey, is there something on sale for 99 cents that might be a book that I'd enjoy?
Cool.
Love that.
All right, well, thank you everyone for joining. I'm sorry for the technical difficulties in the middle there. That's
That
what
was
digital
fun.
advertising is. They call things pixels that aren't actually pixels. A view on Facebook is only 3 seconds, whereas a view on YouTube might be if someone clicks on it. That's helpful.
That's
Uh,
wild.
We have an antagonistic relationship with these ad platforms, and that's just what it is. You're not doing anything wrong, they suck. And I
They're
think
the
that's the end of
problem.
my speech.
Perfect. You did
All right,
great.
goodbye everyone, and thank you.